Paano nakalusot sa presidente yung 1.45 trillion na halos pinalitan ng Kongreso, yung budget, yung President's budget, yung Philippine Development Plan? Paano nakalusot sa inyo yun? Good afternoon. My first question is to the chair of the DBCC. Can you explain to us what is particularly, basically the role of the DBCC in rationalizing the National Expenditures Program, particularly on public policy standards, in alignment with the Philippine Development Plan, and maintaining an equitable distribution of resources?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, the DBCC as a committee considers, approves, and recommends to the President yun pong ating medium to long-term fiscal program. Kabilang po dyan yung ating projected deficit and fixing as well the ceiling, the expenditure program. At yun po yung ginagamit ng DBM naman kapag na-fix na po ng DBCC yung ating magiging ceiling ng expenditure program. Yun po yung ginagamit na ng DBM sa pag-assess ng bawat isang proposal ng mga ahensya. At sa DBM na po nangyayari yung pag-assess po natin ng alignment with our priority development plans and implementation readiness of the proposal.
And you have parameters, for example, in assessing projects of the departments. And can you name it?
Yes, Your Honor, Madam Chair. Among others, unang-una po kapag meron pong proposal, yung completion po ng supporting documents. So meron po tayong mga nakalatag ng mga budget preparation forms na makakapag-prove po ng tinatawag naming implementation readiness. Dahil kung implementation ready po yung isang proyekto, ibig sabihin po, consistent din po dun sa ating GAAS release order, mabilis pong ma-implement yung project pagkapasa pa lamang po ng GAA. Kasama rin po dun sa ating assessment, yun po kanilang utilization rate. Gaya po ng nabanggit ko kanina, ito po yung dahilan kung bakit may ilang department po na medyo bumaba dahil may mga continuing pa po silang mga pondo from 2026.
With that, how can you explain that 1.45 trillion of the national budget in the 19th Congress were realigned to projects that were not really meant to be? Paano po na-implement yung 1.45 trillion in the insertions, diversions, amendments? Without the knowledge of the President and without interference from the Department of Budget and Management and the DBCC.
Your Honor, Madam Chair, ito po ay sa 2026 po.
No. Upang hindi na maulit ngayon, bakit nakalusot? Kasi dapat malaman natin paano nakalusot sa inyo. Paano nakalusot sa Presidente yung 1.45 trillion na halos pinalitan ng Kongreso yung budget, yung President's budget, yung Philippine Development Plan. Paano nakalusot sa inyo yun?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, marahil po ito po yung mga changes that was introduced doon po sa ating 2026 GAA. Ito rin po yung dahilan kung bakit po doon sa veto message ng ating Presidente, sinubject niya po ito doon sa further documentation at pagbibigay po sa amin bago po ma-release ng DBM yung karampatang allotment, ma-substantiate at ma-document po muna ng mga ahensya kung saan po nakalatag yung mga changes na na-introduce po bago po namin i-release yung mga allotment, Your Honor.
Ibig po sabihin na bet nyo na lahat ng mga projects, for example, lalo na sa Department of Public Works dahil may naging controversy, we should learn from our lessons. Have you learned your lesson?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, yes po, for 2027, talaga pong sinusuportahan po ng complete documentation, including po yung program of works, ang bawat isa pong proyekto na nasa 2027 National Expenditure Program.
Wala po bang leadership fund allowed?
Wala po at hindi po kami aware, Your Honor, kasi po we only evaluate the proposals as submitted by the department.
So, ibig sabihin, yung 1.45 trillion na pinalitan ng mga leaders ng Kongreso na nakaraan, hindi nyo alam? Sa DBM?
Your Honor, ang projects po ay nakikita po namin after the NEP, the GAA, the enrolled bill was submitted after the BICAM.
national budget, pinalitan. 2024, pinalitan. 2025, pinalitan. So, ibig sabihin, wala po kayong monitoring. Yung DBM po, hindi nyo ba pinarating ito sa presidente na ganito yung nangyayari?
Your Honor, Madam Chair, patungkol po doon sa mga, although yun nga po, I'm not personally privy on that particular items, yung pong pagbabago naman po doon sa NEP to GAA, ay ang comparison lang po nito once we receive the enrolled bill bago po tayo mag-recommend. At yun nga po, ang naging karampatang rekomendasyon was to subject, kung meron man pong changes na na-introduce or new projects, ay isubstantiate po ng mga departments bago tuluyang ma-implement.
Pero ang secretary po ng DBM, isa lang yan. Marami po kayong mga staff na matatagal na dyan. Ano ba nangyari? Bakit pumayag na hindi nyo ba brief yung ating executive, yung ating presidente na ganyan ang ginagawa ng Kongreso? O wala na lang kayong kibo? Ganun po ba?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, isa po sa observation na parati naman po na ipaparating din po is yung effect po ng ng mga changes na ito, particularly sa implementation ng iba pang mga priority projects. At kabilang nga po sa ilang naaapektuhan would be some of the foreign assisted projects na priority rin po ng administration. And this is regularly reported din naman.
Priority po yung flood control, yung 1.45 insertions and in 3 years? Priority po ba yan?
Kaya po, Your Honor, Madam Chair, nandun po sa veto message na ito pong mga changes in the budget as introduced, including among others, the flood control projects, ay dapat po na sumailalim sa determination ng department, substantiation po nila ng details itong mga proyekto na to, including other applicable budget rules po, Your Honor, Madam Chair.
Yung pong tungkol naman sa unprogrammed appropriations for 2027, 111.984 billion. Kasama po dito, ang pinakamalaki po dito, yung DPWH, DOTR. Can you submit all the projects stated by the different implementing agencies? At ano pong status nito mga ito? Ito ba mga, kasi po nakalagay dito, support to foreign assisted project. Hindi sinabing foreign assisted project. So, ano po yung mga items na ito at ano pong status ng mga foreign assisted projects na ito? Aprobado na ba to? Kung hindi pa, gaano katagal ito mapoprocess? At kung aprobado na, bakit nasa program, bakit hindi sa program?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, lahat po ng foreign assisted projects na nasa unprogrammed appropriations for 2027 ay sumasailalim pa po sa necessary approval sa ICC at sa ED Council. At lahat po ng mga ongoing or aprobado na pong mga foreign assisted projects ay nasa loob po ng programmed appropriations. At we will submit to the Committee on Appropriations, Madam Chair, Your Honor, the breakdown of the support to foreign assisted projects na lahat po ay sumasailalim pa sa review ng ICC at ng ED Council.
Can you submit it at least 1 week or 2 weeks before the plenary?
We will do, Your Honor.
Thank you. And my next to Secretary Federico. Nung nagsasalita po kayo kanina, parang ang tingin ko napakaganda ng ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. You said that ang debt to GDP ratio natin ay 56%. Tama po ba yan?
Sir, the general government debt to GDP is currently at 58.6%.
Is there any other parameter? Yung general debt, meron pa po bang hindi general?
Yes, sir. National government debt.
Nga po, ang tinatanong ko yung national government debt to GDP ratio,
That
which is more appropriate. In
That
this
is 64.9%, Your Honor.
0.9%. It was announced by your office in February 3. Tama po?
Cannot remember the date we announced, but that's the number po, 64.9% for national government debt to GDP.
Salamat po sa Department of kay Secretary kababayan ko, Ilocano, Secretary Balisacan. Meron po kayong mga projections dito na pagtaas sa 2027, 28 nung ating GDP, nung pagbaba ng inflation. Ano pong basis nito?
Well, the primary driver for the sharp slowdown in the last 3 quarters is one, the governance issues, right? Two, the Middle East conflict that led to sharp increases in oil prices. That drove inflation sharply, and those combinations caused a taming of was it increase or a deterioration of the consumer and business confidence. So yung the domestic demand slow down significantly now. So moving forward, and what we are trying to convey here is that we must address those issues. Of course, we cannot do much about the Middle East conflict, but we should be able to respond through the appropriate tools in our hands to moderate the impact of those. And that's what we did under the Uplift program, for example. With respect to the other one, this governance and corruption issues that also impacted on our on domestic sentiments, business and consumer sentiments, that requires a lot of reforms from us, including those reforms that would have to come from Congress. I outlined this morning, for example, some of the laws that we must pass to establish that or reestablish trust in our institutions and governance. But we also can do a lot of things like speeding up the implementation of programs, particularly those overly delayed projects, so that the services of these projects can now be felt by ordinary Filipinos. Those, I think, will establish confidence and move us to move forward, will speed up our recovery, and would enable us to achieve the 3.5 to 4.5% growth for next year, for this year, and 5 to 6 for next year.
Would you agree po na ang pinakamalaking dahilan dito ay yung ng pagbagsak ng ekonomiya natin ay yung budget and flood control scandal? Kasi po wala pa namang Middle East crisis nung late 2025 pero bumagsak na ng 3% yung GDP natin from as high as 5%, di ba? Mas mahigit 5%.
There were already, even before the Middle East conflict, of course, there were already some other disturbances, there was a surge in global trade uncertainty because of because of the changing tariff regime in the U.S. That happened way before the Middle East conflict, and that affected trade flows and investment flows around the world. And then, of course, as we were trying to recover from that, including the effects of, remember, we also had the unfortunate climate-related issues during the last quarters of 2024 and early 2025. And 2025, we are always recovering from that when the Middle East conflict coming in. So those combinations really dented our business and consumer confidence, and that's so the domestic demand you could see it's particularly consumption.
So do you think confidence will return?
I believe so. We believe so. If you are,
hindi po nare-resolve yung governance issue?
I believe so. If we have to work as whole of government. I don't think that any one sector, any one branch of government can resolve that issue. We have to work as the entire government, Congress, the executive, and even our judiciary. This is an issue that as a nation, we have to face.
And of course, there must be a public policy on that. And I think the executive department should lead the public policy on the resolution of this governance issue. Ano po ba ang gagawin ng executive department dito sa pagre-resolve nitong public policy issue na ito?
Yes, for those in the executive that we have control of, for example, I mentioned about the execution. This is faster execution of government programs, particularly infrastructure. I think that we can do, and that's what we are trying. We are now addressing, because the 2 quarters of underspending, if we can mobilize that in the second half of the year, that could drive growth substantially. And that is what we are working on, speeding up the implementation. In the meantime, Congress has also had to pass those urgent laws that we have identified as key to reestablishing confidence in our institutions, particularly addressing the structural issues that I also mentioned earlier.
Thank you. I don't want to belabor the point, but my opinion is that the president should really mean it to resolve these issues of budget and flood control infrastructure scandal, to be able to regain the confidence of investors, businessmen, and even our foreign investors. Thank you. The last
Maraming
question
salamat
is...
po. That will be the last question.
Di pa meron pa, oh.
Zero na.
Meron pa.
Okay, last question. Last question, Kong Egay.
Maiksi. Kanina ni Secretary Frederick Gona, kailangan po talaga may discipline yung spending natin sa kinakaharap natin na 1.6 trillion na deficit for this year. So importante na yung gagastusin natin magpapaunlad sa atin. Tama po, Secretary. Yung po bang katakot-takot, nakita ko po yung pag-angat ng maraming mga programa, katakot-takot po ayuda. In fact, kahit sa ayuda, pagdating po sa social, sa livelihood project na makapagpaangat ng kabuhayan, mas maliit kaysa dun sa talagang ayuda na pamigay lang. Para mas sinasaboy lang yung pera. Sa kalsada, for example, bigyan ko ng example. Yung po ba wise utilization of resources, yung 8 billion pinamigay ng presidente sa 42,000 barangays, 20,000 pesos sa 5 scholar, at 100,000 para sa mga proyekto ng barangay. Do you have enough absorptive capacity to monitor kung saan napunta tong 8 billion na ito? Sa amin sa Caloocan, yung 100,000 para sa scholar, pinag-hati, ginawan tig 5,000. Yung 100,000, meron pa gumawa ng project, yung stud, yung sa kalsada, yung nilalagay. So, paano na monitor to? Paano natin ma-account itong 8 billion na ito?
Okay, thank you for that last question, Kong Egay. I think the question was addressed to, kanino po naka-address? Kay Sec Kim.
Yes,
Please reply.
Mr.
Thank you.
Chair, Your Honor, kung ito po ay mga proyektong ini-implement po ng LGU galing po sa national government, meron po tayong standing agreement with DILG. Bukod pa po ito sa regular audit function po ng Commission on Audit. So DILG, Your Honor, is in charge po of monitoring the proper implementation of these projects vis-a-vis the guidelines for the utilization po. But we'll take note of that particular concern, Your Honor.